Yanko na ye nim komo. 321 321. Me pepe sabidi adwuma boy. Jerry. Quanti Obama quanti fufu abono. And you better touch on a because you touch on the no be last topic. No, I don't know Mukampa. Yanja MPP primaries, you know, what is it? Na yanko. So far, what do you think? Who do you think we should vote for? Now we are, and only just 2 minutes. Tell yan sorry so. Niamfa IGP in some nante.
Okay, the chair. The chair, I show for any chair for you now. I'm saying, me can't, only me chance and me can't say me chair 1 and 2. Say you number 1 and 2.
The president and the vice president.
The vice president. But Nini now is symbol for the two of them. On the vice president already or number 2.
Okay.
Or your vice president to number 2. Intermediate me when he said number 2 no. A year on also adia nyankopon e di ache ne ho no no nti o da number 2 ma omo a omo di na chinya omo nwe ho se wa na number 1 no akoda number 2 e na yen papa Ken ono so e da number 1 o za de we na no yekoye special voting o ya shin kakra man kofo hu se sa na ono so na ni abre
showdown
nti showdown no na je se ono so ye number 1 e wo ho no nti emomu nyina akwaba aba ne de ye to wie a ene ebe hu but me de normal de unya normal ne wie no anya hu adwuma normal nem timi ma wu wi ni o so timi ye hu adwuma nti oketagie me de manuesi
ba me ne ye timodi omisa surade afu achidi ntobi so eja whoever they elect, it has consequences on more chances of winning. Yeah, Nantier.
Yo, definitely. Yes, I'm saying no, no. I'm saying I sang omo primaries, you know, immediately or after omo super delegates. And I'm say honorable arrangement to sign into no postpone here up to what they did yesterday. And omo you know, like my brother said, the ballot and the aba. Now, ballot does not really say anything much. What is most important is obianya position ne honjo ho wakase maybe the position. That is what they are going to campaign. But you see, I think that Kennedy is a formidable candidate, no matter how you look at it. Yeah, they am for Kennedy in Diagro, and I am for any of the candidates who are on the ballot paper now. But one of my worry things is that super delegates and near me cover the buy, you know, your bo be nini and tokanen kakra. I'm saying super delegates will be much more fierce than the first one. If the first one was just less than 1,000 delegates, now less than 1,000 now the violence, but then over the 200,000, they must be very careful and they must ensure that we a clean campaign. My share almost tighten the rules for the general elections in November 4th. I don't know what they've done about it, but I think that it's an issue that we are all watching. It's an issue that share so much my way to clean up. After all, we wish them well and we want them to come out with the best candidates for us to also show them who we have elected.
Show them down. Yeah. Show down. Gobi?
Yes, sir.
Does this scare you, whoever comes from that side?
Absolutely not. Ebusunya fuyechia ubia anope. Tim, many say mehu. You honorable Clement and so the Aten and County. It's effort nede. Now, Osaberi man, netini say a 2-man race. Ken or Baumia. Obviously. Nentia made me go for Ken to say Ken you me senior Ken hear me what disco inti the be and me do baby a senior they senior for life inti me JD say and okay na interesting about our race in the say this is the first time I ever share the no career super delegates relationship with the general delegates, you know, because you had to say super delegates, you know, yeah, a representation of the general.
Right.
Inti, yeah, but say no career. Say if the general delegates population no could break away from the super delegate influence. Not one vote to Amakena, because that would be the exact thing as I say you expect. One can 10 BS say, oh, you know what, so the regular delegates, general population delegates, boy can dear intino, as I say, now we'll go and we'll show love. Inti your baby has said, Christ will be show love, or become true to the game, no one vote to Amakena, one vote to Amakena. As I say, nim say, the one said what can bro for what can say skew no abrechi what can skew chinchinga pen amedwene ho so Ghana they what can be skew and I just say
elections as
but anyhow ye behu me no ehọ na me interested in because so ye who say super delegates no come out in their numbers no vote to McKenna not just say Ken papa so ye ma won all over in parties from time immemorial Ken niama waboa won with no and no I then a show true. But so one vote to a makena who say wouldn't know where yakpa.
Ah.
Oh you. Not just say what the sika what was sika brim. That's really what it means.
But if that happens, then your chances of winning the elections, what do you think?
Oh, there be many chances, many chances, independent of whoever comes.
Because if it is possible to actually sway over 200 and something thousand with a year money, then you can understand the larger populations. So you do the main election. Be influence the voting pattern of the nation.
There's a difference. The difference is the commitment level of delegates ewo MPP muno what a commitment to make to obia one warrior father say a one leader. So
right.
But the general population of Ghana no don't have a commitment to Baumia. What I say? Intino they can vote any way they want, but one what MPP muno they tied to Baumia by virtue of one association with MPP. Inti say influence the Juma a Juma internally, but ain't to me influence externally adding because on the external they obia tomato any way they want. What an American.
So the hopes are still high, say 2024 elections, you know.
But media 2024, hey, Redstone and Niama Ejija whoop tier radio baby. Made an emissary and say Ghana for more journalists cry Moka about problems and problems and problems. But beyond to me can say vote in Makufi granting. Because me pen make me solve Ghana problem. Okotechi wopa. I bet you say fame one day now the mentina ha. Niem face Ghana. Put an invitation out to all the candidates. Say wamra. No one metina.
I'm sure you would do a debate for all of you other.
Me say what yem face Ghana. Niem present yem. Hina no about be change constitution. Me na me say me change constitution.
President Mama so be change constitution.
Only he had a chance to what Nuyama ni see na nim so oni otumidi. Atamel so Nuyama already see na nim so oni otumidi ana. A simple answer. Otumidi went to me because it wasn't in their party's interest. Ebi debia oba no say Professor wa wunipa Professor Kwekwasare wo
US yes.
Florida.
Right.
Or no now or ye injunction to and then you require that parliamentarians now stop the passing of change, constitutional change, adding because at a mills and fat council with the process. Say in the constitution, there is no directive of how to amend a constitution in the constitution. Ghana fu nimsa. Inti process Tamils of final or they do parliament and parliamentarians are a majority of NDC phone was shutting it down. Say, you know what? There is no process established in the constitution as to how to go through an amendment. Intino, we're going to shut this thing down. And you Kwekwasare
I'm privy to sa part.
And American say, then they see, but Ghana Fupi, Nim Ghana Fupi blame Kwekwasare say, or no injunction to say Professor Sare had no right. That's not true.
But a argument na even Jomama raising yes Professor Kwakwaza entina went me yes it's baseless. The AT America say baseless, and they say, year report way every year by 2011. Now white paper year issue. President Mills every year 2012. John Mahama, you took over 6 months. Ubedi president from 2013, 14, 15. The next year, what happened to 2013? What happened to 2014? If you had started earlier the implementation, quarter, I'm sure the judgment would have come earlier for you to continue with your implementation. So he just didn't want to do it.
And it didn't even make it.
But I'm not privy to say Parliament in a stop it the process.
Okay,
Timothy was the
well, listen, the process they say Eba Echo Council of State. No one go about one deliberations for 30 days and sana call we're friending
Parliament back.
They be Eba call into the Gazette for 6 months. And sana back to Parliament. And sana Parliament am order to EC. Right? And sana one starts we're friending referendum no. But
Timothy, were you in Parliament then?
I was in Parliament.
Okay, so here.
So the issue is this. Respectfully, it didn't even come to Parliament.
I think Mianga Samabua mi ateni shown into English. Fabric.
Constitution biala all over the world. There are procedures they amend the constitution. It depends if there are entrenched clauses or there are flexible clauses. And if they are entrenched in SWA, there's a procedure over first no amend the entrenched clauses. And that could be through a referendum or a plebiscite. The same to depend on the way you want to look at it. And it will involve, say, or can organize an election throughout the country. For instance, Chapter 5 of the Constitution is an entrenched clause. Wouldn't mean changing about
human rights.
Yes, by mere sending it to Parliament and through a parliamentary process, no more changing. No, the Mills here and say he did nationwide constitutional consultation. Said Obeya. A man for the margin by change the constitution to meet our modern trends of governance because constitution be aware that's how we implement it. That's where you see the challenges. And we remember Professor Fiajo and the group, including Professor Raymond Atubiga.
Emeritus Professor Albert Koyefi.
Yes, and Atubiga was the executive secretary. I was a member of the parliamentary committee, so a committee on the constitutional reforms to also look at the changes. When we presented our report, that was it. I remember I was a member of that committee. Into Parliament for debate. It must come to Parliament, especially on the constitutional entrenched clauses. That one must be debated, and it must go through the referendums. The referendums are more penny. I'm voting say yes. You change our clauses, Clauses are about the human rights and then other institutions. And when the people then they will bring it back to Parliament for debate and gazetting and throughout. It ended there because Professor Zadia Yiniko, you cannot go until the court ruling over it. He challenged the process, so the Supreme Court must determine the way forward for it. Because remember that this constitution is the first I wanted to do the amendment. Amendment they'll be challenged because we haven't done it before, like I said, for over time. But there's a clear way. Said obey to make change it because we made it.
The question is, was that followed?
Yeah, we didn't even read the following because it did not even come to Parliament at all. Do you get it? The Constitutional Commission that's set up under Professor Fiajo now, even the report did not even come to Parliament at all. Even as we say today, it hasn't come to Parliament.
I think Professor Mills, okay, go ahead.
Before you can, everybody's view was taken. Both presidential candidates, former presidents, and all of them, even civil society groups, and across the whole country. In the report, it hasn't been presented to Parliament for Parliament to look at it. I was a member of Parliament at the time, and I was on the committee. It never came.
Now a presidential commission.
Yes,
report.
It never
so
came. So
among the reports in the comma, Professor Mills, which Professor Mills issued white paper on it. Yeah. But sadly, and one would have expected, one of the things Professor Mills the white paper and strike it out was the basics on which commission make you a recommendation, which is National Development Planning Commission.
Yeah.
So national development recommendations in
No, National Development, just before you, National Development Commission, we say up to 40 years. But when the MPP came into power, I remember very well the senior minister, Safamafu, Eka said they were not going to follow it, and they put it aside completely. So the
which is the Nimoy Thompson
yes. Our extract here, the 40-year development plan for the country. But the current government said they were not going to follow that plan at all, so it was put aside.
No, but Kojo Fiajo Yen said, Mumaninya constitutionally binding.
So it will have come to Parliament for the constitution.
Momo yes, a mum pesa hono. Now for mumpe, no more kwakwa a 40 year. So long as it's not constitutionally binding.
No, it didn't even come to Parliament for us to be constitutional binding. You know, when Parliament passed an act, and then the president assents to the president sign here. It will go to Gazette, like he's saying, and then it will be published and so on before it becomes operational. But what we did was not the NSA. Sorry, the NSA that National Development Plan, and yet aspect that must necessarily come to Parliament. When we say, I agree with you that if it is made into law, it will be binding on all political parties. They used to say, and on a framework for development, we'll be able to make extractive for it. But what we did does not preclude, say, Anka, if we accepted the whole presidential commission recommendation and also EMBA, we could extract that to be working with. It has nothing to do with parliamentary approval because it was based on just development. But we would then make it binding. Say, be law now binding for intina. Osafamafu Timika say, Honorable Osafamafu Timika say, Omun use in it. And Kebeye Bana, he cannot say that.
Of course.
Of course, I agree with you. And Kesan Kebeba Parliament, now Parliament would have to amend it through a bill again.
Okay.
But buy.
Go be mature for Onisiana.
American say, no can as you, no American and Professor Kwekuaza Samora can say. There are 4 pathways to changing or amending a constitution. 4 pathways. Ghana, no, 4 pathways. It's not established in the constitution which pathway to take to amend the constitution. Intina Professor Kukwagazari can say, till say me approve a chair and say pathway A or B or C or D na more fano and you're constitutional. Inti muntu present it to Parliament and intina uncle do Parliament. Okay, na make an what say. Inti pathway now, Professor Fiajonum nam so now. Professor Mills' recommendation, it has to come from the executive. Order comes from the executive, and the council of the executive is who tells Parliament say what will initiate. But it's not established inside the constitution currently. Intina Professor Kwekwaza can say if it's not established there, then the Kwamben soon am referred to change the constitution. And not a void.
One oba Kwambe na vasualisano.
The constitution ain't changing. The whole category means no, there is a way.
Oba Kwambe na vasualisano.
Pathway that it needs to take and it has to be established in Parliament first. And Sani Fiasia Faso. Why establishes our pathway no in Parliament? Then the Kwambe na refaso. Because it's constitutional. Now make an okay. That's all there is. Now one yet Mahama by no nim. Because we can't read and untina uncle do Parliament, and so Mahama by no 1 year, 10 he had 3 solid years, 36 months. He could have changed this before or ending the term. And so 1 year into what and America say, me pen and baby change constitution, me pen and a national development plan for the next 30, 40, 50 years. I didn't because Enono says no can an entrenched position, but you don't go to Parliament for an entrenched position. You go to the people. If the people who vote you into power is who you're going to go to present to them an entrenched position, and guess what? One vote to into power, no, they will vote for the constitution. You
what IGP you can say. Yeah, Kosono. And yeah, Faminanti.
Faminanti, I love that. Faminanti. Okay, this is a joke. It's a circus. What do you mean a circus? They be an American see. IGP, Accountant General, Electoral Commissioner, such sensitive positions should be picked by a public service commission. When you're a public service commission, I'm picking out. Not just say one process of picking something in thanks to Baumia, becomes skewed. What do you say? And that is exactly the problem, because say ye ni processor definitive. Go through obia on the only interest bia. Then an IGP will not feel say any loyalty has to go to the person who picks him, which is a president. I bet to me obi na pick inti na American say if we had a processor police commission nipa 3 what the ama public service commission say monko na monko ya mu due diligence monya mu background search na mu bibia na mu wie at the end of it no mo my report to say sa IGP out of nipa 3 na mo picker, we will not have this joke of a circus.
Sani no America.
You see, and also another problem I have. Say bibia no ye America de America models no ain't yet the way to go, unfortunately. What you say? American models ni bebre ohodoma outdated. 90 American models ni p no work for American, and they say they have solid systems that holds our models ni in place. Inti say enye dwuma kra mpo a it's an constricted to give a specific result. Inti no eno no sa no wunya result be a desired. Na me okoteche na me kan what you say. But for yenga yeri start yen democracy and yema p atoto apansami yen to me nhwe America for guidance. As I say, you have different models. Yeah, hybrid models. No, yeah, for baby to say, my favorite models are here. Yeah, from Singapore and Japan. What do you say? Sa two a year the baby boom.
And Singapore and Japan, no, the police pen, you know, and yeah, president they choose it.
Baby, anyone in this a year woman, president Baba Yene Juma. And yet, Grom Hankwana, me who present Oko, ka sword carding for toilets, no money a day. Which I say, a dang nekoso. And yet, President Juma, ne President no ye, but he has too much time on his hands. Near me who Yankwana president here. What you say? President has to be presidential. President in Nina Munchucha saw the mu and de be. I no nye President Juma. Wahu, and ye hear president, ye hear systems to work. Systems worker obiaba as or functionary and now or element of the society so benejuma or babenejuma noko because the systems work and systems no because a system pro system nintino a duplicatable yangs niamani pia ye wo krom ha no okatechi a personality run inti is a personality change pe Jean Mensa of you up the next commissioner what in the just like why was Charlotte or say no or by obechangi bribia why representation of the People's Amendment Act yet the two ho say uncle once sano was Charlotte say ni am obey no we jaw irregularities bebre or hontino Jimensen to me implement what friend and ropa and besine won't implement ropa ye besine won't implement ye Wabra Mahama Bekensi, there is more than enough money to implement RUPA. Yakufuado by 2017, New York University, Miwohobi, no be my speech, metenim to send a metu no kensi, ye be implement RUPA. Besine 1 year, adding 1 year. Commissioners have changed. With every commissioner comes on one ideology or the Bay Juma, was where you're independent. And so ni bibia where you're interested, where you're human centered, I will serve the people. Into what's the point? What's the point? And it goes to Sawasemia okay 260. How can you go from 33,000 polling stations to 268 district offices to represent the same 35 million people? Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you? Wofi 33,000 polling stations. Nipa wo pese will create equitability into what create 33,000 places to present one franchise say what per se will vote because we're citizens. All of a sudden we reduce that 33,000 to 268. How does that make sense? Now
275 actually. Unless you are talking about district.
Make a district centers now we say kohoko vote.
268. Okay, registration.
Registration 268 and 275.
And when they join it to the year registration exercise in
the it doesn't make sense and you're equitable. In there's a factor be can winning factor. Say no we say we to me the nipa 2 ba bedding guarantee wo identity, right? nipa 2 no one fa wim na enko polling station ho why district center ho nti the cost to you say wo fi baby a wo fi wo domicile echo baby a district office no one one cost nipa 2 na ban one fa play na mra and one fa deng na mra na make an what say if they have to come out that's an extra cost nti efa say wo nipa oni mu obetumi a verify won tinkran wo konongo e better no aba so who problem it's madness nti na de bia na make an say who thinks for this country in many people we create these problems for ourselves you know if they
now go view this yama year o ma bamu no
janam nyeme juma jaman me
juma na wa
what is it IGP stroke here EC
IGP ni say last on say me can say first of all committee nuclear ma form parliament no me after na me share anti ase papa
what is about your kase gu mic no
because let me say adwuma na edi mo na nkasa na o ma fi homom they said you mo kan nyina na akoye bibi foforo kra na no me ti IGP no me hu say obo modin ama no o ma ye ne credentials say efita moku school ani tamo abedi IGP nyina ye hu no ho na nka obi ono wakoka na asem obi na say obi ti say na akoba ni say IGP nso abeba ni die on say that no mudu IGP ko chia no okochi Alex Mensa na
right
and ko ko say mahu wo pepesi mu e ma no mo mie nya mo sere e che say adwuma na nkasa no omo ti omo ho ase na ase bi na abantira na IGP nsemo ebisa ne nyina no ma Ghana fo nyina ti asese senior bugli na bukra kan asem nya sa nete ono kra no hia no ohun kra be 8 months ago eno ohun bugli na abu ohia na chepa Alex Mensa so aka ne de na ya fa mu bi ni nyina sese omu wi a committee no benim se omu ni sa tumi ni se ombeka se ebia recommendation be no mbe ni sese insem o make be bia be si recommendation be no mbe ombe ni se IGP atwantro ana Alex Mensa na anka ne ye ana sese but unim senior future president okazi si obi a watena amana ne kakra bia no onim senior no ma bisiti yen institutions na ya form okromo ano they are not on their own, they are not autonomous whether we like it or not. Institutions no more autonomous inti autonomous no more no say eba ni say BBC one institution bi emu a but na politics about bedroom IGP say abayi na obi oya president no power mo na obi power IGP so a insemu ebe piepie mo ebe wie tie na say o IGP no kura no oye osumasi nipa but obi ti say IGP o was so say ye nyina ehu ni pefe say IGP metima ka say oni NDC aye adwuma oni MPP aye adwuma inti say kapa dia eni ye na ono no line no omampani na do danko akufo ado anwe hu say we IGP ananka woni former president atamis aye adwuma da no obetimi ama ni sa atumi na yi wasan digan enim inti ni oye bia no hu ni say on the oye adwuma magana na yewura Alex Mensa nso no ono nso na woni IGP ye adwuma because omo koye program bi wo KNUST no mo ye program no na Alex Mensa to me say no odi asapa no odi IGP etia no odi asa eno no kire ayonkofo bi ananka omo wo ewo adwuma no mankasa but bebi ekodu say anka ono no de ono na say anka yedi 2 minute ma no a obetimi ama MPP abreki 8 no ekwan bi so no abeyi MPP ama say ebia ono IGP no betimi ama party bi etimi abreki their line of election or something but I'm not too sure say IGP bi okromo obetimi aka say ono nko betimi agina ho na baby eto abanyina no or the instructions be call say yemfa ballot box papers in the womb na yen tomprint fi baby na yemfa be si ho in one particular party's name. It's not possible in this ano nyina sisi na nese na ya expose Ghana police me hu ni say ya expose Ghana police because omo be kan o masem asem no maka nyina no afi na nkrofo ehu no bi ekoso police no IGP eko committee na nim no hu cars dodo a na edi na chief police headquarters ya kodu ami parliament ɔmo nya nso ɔmo si fam a ɔmo yɛ police fo mpanyinfoɔ no bi na ɔkatakyie eti sɛ Ghana police no emu kyɛ saa na ahemfa na yɛkɔ yi na baabi yɛkɔ na yɛhu all what I'm saying is institutions no ɛsɛ sɛ politicians yɛ politicians no yɛ allow institutions na ɔmo yɛ ɔmo adwuma na ɔkasa sɛ ohun president bi a okɔ America ohun president bi a ɔkɔyɛ toilet shortcut and yes I don't cry but I can tell you say Misumahu Obama wa commission no bi a na ke beka say anka president kura on commission it's not fanfare. There are certain things that are not fanfare. Say nanado me who say or ma masamanda embe commission toilet bi a ho ayesi. When we say toilet, what is toilet? No man kiti bi yemma ekwan o mampani nanado do waye n'adwuma wasi wayi IGP na wayi no IGP ye wadwuma na omo mu no omo akofo asem ama omo ho enye o mampani ne suma les mensa ba ko ne fa say George Asare enye o mampani ne suma no bukuri na bu nankasa no no ye initiator nankasa no ono nso menye sure kura say o mampani ne suma ne say onkoye ne o ye ni nyina na IGP no asem no so fa no no IGP kura danka meka say nka o tin ba bi omo manya omo asem nanka eso omo ka omo asem but in all share no yen ka say Ghana ye koye na whether say constitutions na enko yie no mo bi enko yie ho e besesa ne de say me de say asem no me kura maka say ami ye laws no e bi anyin dodo e bi abo abroa we need amendments say ye be referendum kura na say e bitimi akotu those things na e bitimi ehu and me too as a municipal chief executive o de John mu de ha me pa ma kwan a enye nyina no egu ho na kwan na enye no se me fa pa ni paper na me tro na bia na me di mane na me di ko ba bi e bia se federal road e se me di ko urban road e se me di ko omo nso afini du ye no ma ye budget a omo budget ni che se die omo pese omo ye wo Ghana ha eni ni ye wo Greater Accra division a omo nso no Greater Accra na dia se omo nsa enti di mimi ho ya me wo be 1400 and something kilometers yi why is why say the bia no me na yesi me tumi kako federal roads and urban roads na me ko po mo che say me kwanye me why they have a budget.
Meanwhile, the president is cutting salt for toilets.
He's not cutting salt for toilets. He's not cutting salt for toilets.
We jadu no ngana sem.
Jam na mnye mejuma.
Jadu no nyene juma.
Enti no. Ye best say ye pa mampani bia ono to that bia person the president. Sini te bia oni nipa na be yedwuma. Enipa no so oni o be yedwuma no. Eye by constitution ni ye di yedwuma. Enti ye beka ni mra ne beka no. Oba procurement law no we know what happens. It's a whole lot. See yes laws ni dia na yes san eno ekwan bi so no mini be yedwuma odu ho a amemeboa no ama ya change laws no because your laws no be ahye dada.
Thank you.
Clement we can say odu ho obeboa no ma me so me hwe na me moa eye Andis mineral water. No eja ye dia besi anim wo se ye no mo na e comment no. Wo hwe even the bottling Andis mineral water, Andis mineral water, Andis mineral water, Andis mineral water. Ensure no ye kroje kama na akono ensure kura. Imagine say we say the AC akono na wo di chef fridge na ensure ka ayi mfifire kakra tre no a uyi anoma wo de ma gas for nbe sra wo de ma omo a eno no kama pa Jerry say eno a Jerry eno eti Andis mineral water ko pebie na enom fre Andis mineral water 0596 01 4641 0596 01 4641 0596 01 3436 Dampa papa so nanum nsu papa eno an obi expect here say wonum nsu papa ye Andis mineral water na empa woda so nkase empa wonya hwe ye aisa na no empa papa fie de ye ena ventures La Paz we got here for 0267 38 6231 Enna Ventures. Tim Faminante.
You see, my team in your Kofi, independent presidential candidate. Sure, okay, Teche, look. And yet about the changing of the appointment of IGP and other public officers that would resolve the matter. Even in the US, you remember Trump, or losing election now, or Kasa and Ankrofone Bahon, he wanted to use the army generals. What did they tell him? They told him that they've sworn the Constitution of America to protect the Constitution and the people of
It doesn't
the United
matter
States.
who appoints
It doesn't
them.
matter. They understand, and you cannot interfere. You remember the FBI director, I think James Comey, he had to, he told, what is the name? Catch Clinton said, now Clinton wanted to be his friend, or one of them wanted to be. No, I said no. His appointment is sacrosanct, and he's supposed to do what he wants to do.
Meanwhile, Clinton appointed him.
Yes, and there's even here, Kromhan Mono. Even members of parliament are electoral, including independent members of parliament, for the people who have elected them. Do we really understand how institutions are a yejuma? Is it the mode of appointment? As we sit this morning, there are CEOs, Public Service Commission. They go to the Public Service Commission. Yet when they come, they are still controlled by the president or by the executive. So it is not the mode of appointment. It is whether that mode of appointment you are. How do you play? How does the institution insulate you from external forces and influence that will impact, otherwise negative or positive, on the delivery of your services to the people of this country? What is our What is our set of mentality? Now we share IGP. Look, the crux of the matter. What your friend is saying, the IGP leak tapes. The main issue is that police officers led by Alex Mensah were allegedly caught on tape. Almost say one more plot say IGP we dampari and you Dr. Dampari MPP to me break the 8. That is the subject matter. And no other thing, actually, when somebody leaked a video by say, well, man, a contract is not the issue. Whether he gave him contract, that is not it's tangential. It is not the issue is that police officers are so how the constitution work. That's what Marco, former regional chairman of the MPP, and saying that this is their mission. Help us to execute our mission. And our mission is that asin north hormone police for nom ko man boa man by election na main elections neighbor na so almost decide you ko man win it. That is the crux of the matter. Any other thing is useless. And look, in terms of the fact that look, by the IGP is incompetent. Some are kind of if the IGP is incompetent, it means the president also is incompetent. Identity because the president appointed IGP in consultation with the Council of State, or sign in your Council of State in Kwang. What even?
All right.
Yes, you see, if you describe the IGP that he's incompetent, and there were nipa na nyo no kwan na duru say be na sa na say IGP and as a president should shame no so yi or no. It means that at that time he was the best. Because your consultation with the Council of State and the president when your Council of State ko bit ma even your consultation with some chiefs, with some opinion leaders, with even party executive and party leaders, Crawford in Yamadia you dear. That's all you know say COP Alex say this is the worst IGP Wabagana. It means the president is the worst IGP president. It means ye and the president also appointed with the fact that this is the best I can choose for now. The only call Buruna Buhono, Oman Kase IGP near incompetent. The subject matter was that one person would change no mind changing as a doctor or I said doctor Wenia won't mean breaking it. No one person Dr. Berry now won't mean breaking IGP or Hodia break the aid and forget it. That's the whole issue. Now we share IGP no. We share say no babe shas here no, he was quite jittery. It is natural with all of it because sometimes we born home modern. We ye juma ye. Na so born modern to put the institution na a man for we ni more. I no mo ye juma the same yan kan say na omo ko Kumasi for bi na cop mensa na o sadi na echi. Na nipa o sadi we echi no. Na so turn around to stab you in the back. With a dagger with chimpo a it's painful. Looking at the sleepless and looking at whatever that you are putting in.
I don't confuse so okay.
Okay, Tachi here. BBO can be no borders on emotion, personalities. Sanya many nano echo into. Okay, in America, say so we're build a new democracy. Systems ne constrict nipa to behave in an order be and
I'm sure he's making the same.
Yes.
The institutions should be able to insulate. Many okay said the Attorney General. No, not attorney, the Auditor General are present. Once the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court ruled that his actions were unconstitutional. So we should have a judiciary that should be able to look in the face of the executive and say that your actions are ultra vice the constitution. And the constitution and humantino, the wakano, if you're judiciary and you're bold enough, it dispense justice without fear or favor and look into the eye of the executive, even though the president appoints your friend is saying the members of the judiciary now. Obesha said the presidents will be careful because no president pay embarrassment on person China na quarter boegu na quarter boegu na quarter boegu. Share never be PA IGP na ma emede. Look, or say omo bisa ne say then I'm sure the interdiction letter edema police for me and sana omo ye no ana mo san twe san ye. I don't say ono no say tapes ne fan ho ntino oyi ne ho free police council no so wantena hobby, so he wasn't part of the interdiction letter. Intino and a police council to met, and the one who presided was the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Boyone Tena Police Council. And so the Minister of Interior was there, the Attorney General was there, the National Security Minister was there, and they took a decision. So who was the one who is above the vice president of which Marcus Omun change a yin sign? The vice president presided. The Minister of Interior, Minister of Interior, so or a lawyer, he was a former deputy attorney general. Ambrose Derry. The attorney general currently was in the law, no. They know the law and they know that by what interdiction and Chira said they should not still be taken through what parliamentary probing. It does not in any way conflict. Into why Anna said they should uninterdict the people, the police. Secondly, Okasa about regulation beyond in the police service, and that regulation started in 2012. That's our regulation. Say so. We university bar, and just 1 year degree, they should promote you. And if there is a need for your promotion, then it will be referred to your friend is saying, the police council. Intino, we are police in that's how we are sergeant. Now we have degree, we have master's degree with the intention to be promoted. You should know that this law is preventing anyone from preventing you. Intino Katechosha, if you listen to some of the police, ya koye degree aba, promote here. Yet you know that you were going to do the degree doesn't mean that you'll be appointed. And you know what? Okay, about 8 or something, the IGP now caught for not promoting them. Yeah, you know that there's a lacuna. There's a law saying that woko degree in the bar, it has not automatic. You are not automatically promoted. No, yes, have some time. But I say the degrees and whatnot was obstructing. Into the police regulation came 12 years ago. Then you turn around to blame this IGP, Dr. Dampare. So I'm promoting. Yet you know that the law, you have gone to do your degree, okay. But it doesn't mean that you should be promoted. You can only be promoted if you get steady leave with pay approved by the police council to go and do it. Maybe you're the inspector. You do inspector now, then you request for steady leave. Then it is approved by the police. I know they all bow on the mouth. But one said because the youth and most of them, but you know be or sergeant report because this will be at me degree, but you know be a distance degree, be we acquire masters in addition. Knowing very well that alone cannot promote, then you turn around and blame the IGP for not promoting you. How do we do that? Internet they make can say, I think at the end of the day, no. Me dem na man for nya adwen say almost set committee no, because even like dampare nkwasa no ka some ka say e bia opempo a obetuma call insan no say no, the allegations against him was public. Internet say ono so tena ha no yi na no de for public. And then what can something significant, you see, or said that or the president now say president now pointing one who is over to me appointing as IGP, but they are all answerable to the
My sister, no more leakages. Easy waterproof paint is your solution.
So you see,
recruiting from until only the air form only the one fin only the one penny for no. So obi an idea that's a would the yaw would the fact that my party is in power and can seminar me yeah. What I'm yona something look, I said that the president my bonabaso say one fa Alex Mensa so by IGP. It was under you, Anna Ayawa see, Anna Tichima Yukunipa 8 Nekeka home. So it means that the president himself wasn't happy with your output. That's why a bedroom nene na hwe so wa jumping is up. The president was not happy. Nanya niam bia na president beba bonten abeka say sadly poor am can expecting say oyese awanye sa no. So for me, the niam bebre aba, but the real issue is the fact that they had gone to connive to overturn the results by changing this IGP. Normally, the one IGP or MPP in India, no at 10-8. Now, best a break 8. No, but any other thing now, the buyer say police administration. Look, the police council is made up of the Minister of Interior, who is a member of Parliament. Mm-hmm. The Attorney General is there, and all other people who are supposed. The Vice President presides. So. And never be a common or meeting as Pomac now. The Pomac no more report on the Beko Police Council to approve. So IGP conducted himself when people were satisfied with his what your friend is saying, his evidence before the committee, and I think that should be the issue. So the forms or higher, but the criminal aspect, the alleged criminal aspect of the tape must be tackled.